Welcome! So today I'd like to get into something that's been a very long time coming. Way back in the day, back in probably almost the single digits of these tutorials, we developed an effect health script. Today I want to give us something to shoot that will enable that effect health script to eventually kill whatever that is. I am, of course, talking about an enemy. So we started way back by creating this folder in our blueprints folder over here. And inside that folder, we have a B_base enemy. Now, just for those of you who might have been doing these tutorials out of order, which I won't recommend, but depending on your level of expertise with Unreal, perhaps you would be capable of jumping around without too many problems. We're just going to delete this and start again. Let's go back over to core, right-click on B_base character, and create child blueprint class. This will be called B_enemy_base. Because our enemies will probably be a large group at some point, so we're going to need to add more underscores and more descriptive words to make sure that we don't get lost. And then let's drag that over to the enemies folder, hit move, and this is B_enemy_base. So this is going to be like our base weapon and our base gadget, the guy that holds all of the variables. So to begin with, we already have everything that came from the base character, which means that if I right click anywhere in this graph and type effect health, if I grab the event, this delta will be essentially the damage that comes out from wherever that effect health event is called from. To try and make a little more sense of this, let's go over to weapons. Let's open up weapon base. And if I was to open up the fire weapon function, skipping all of this, after we've hit a line trace, we then call that event, effect health. And that's going to be on whatever actor is hit. So if an actor is hit and it doesn't have effect health implemented as an interface, it's not going to do anything. We already have that interface here. So on the other end of that, we're going to put damage into delta, depending on our weapon. And then we're going to shoot over and delta is going to then do what it needs to do. Now we have done this before. If we go over to, sorry, I'm jumping around a lot, but want to make as much sense of this for you as I can. If you see effect health here, we've done the same thing. So the first thing we want to do after effect health is calculate health. Let's right click in enemy base, calculate health. We want to call the function. And really simply to start with, we're going to just plug delta into delta. So our damage is going to come over and this function exists inside of our base character. And here, this is just a script to say we are subtracting health from health, and if it's below 0, then we're going to set is dead. So once we've called that function back over in enemy base, we want to get is dead and check if it's true or false. If is dead is false, we won't do anything. But if it's true, this is where we need to enact our death script. We're going to start really simple for now. Let's right click and go spawn emitter at location. And I'm going to make this enemy explode, just for now. The location is going to be get actor location. And rotation and scale can stay the same for now. Then we'll spawn sound at location. And that sound will be an explosion. And we don't want explosion 1 or explosion 2. We want explosion Q. We'll get into some Qs later on. Plug our location into that as well. So now when this enemy dies, it will explode. Let's pop over to the viewport, and inside this mesh, let's put something. It's a skeletal mesh, so all we have are our weapons to pick from at the moment and our hero's arms, but I want to start even more simple than that. Let's go over and add a static mesh. We will probably get rid of this later, But for now, I just want it for illustrative purposes because then we'll build on this script in the next episode. Let's get a sphere. Material sphere will do. And we'll make this material anything we want. If you want to put something funky on there, back over to test, open up starter content, and here's a bunch of materials to pick from. I'm going to pick this hex tile pulse here, and then I'll go back over to enemy base, click on this little arrow, and that will use whatever asset is selected in the content browser. And there we go. Doesn't look perfect. You can see that some of the edges are cut off, but again, this is just for show and tell. This isn't necessarily going to be something in our final game. Compile and save that. We'll also make our capsule component fit. 50 and 50 seems to work. Compile and save. Back over to the event graph, because we don't have a health bar on this enemy yet, we will get a print string, get health, again, a variable that comes from our base character, so it doesn't appear in this list of variables here. It's part of its parent. Plug in health actual there. We won't plug it into the event tick, as it looks like I was about to do. We're going to plug it into false, because that's going to fire every time we shoot. So we'll get an indicator of whether the health is being affected every single time. And the default for our base character was 100, so that'll be 100 health. Now it's going to be up to our weapon to subtract from that. So let's go and drag our enemy into the world. I know he doesn't look like much yet, but again, this is just for testing purposes. Snaps are a bit poor. Let's knock that down to 50 so we can put him up there. And now if we hit play and shoot at it, we can see the health dropping and the explosion fires. One thing I forgot to do is destroy the actor. So once we've spawned the sound and the explosion, Emitter will destroy the actor. Compile, save, play. And now if I walk over to the enemy and I shoot him, he explodes. Just like that. So we have an enemy that is dying when that health is affected. I'm just going to quickly enable game sound because I want to make sure that's all working. Footsteps. Nothing from the gun yet, but the explosion is firing. So there it is. The enemy is dying as intended. So that'll do for this episode. Just to get us started, we'll continue upon this concept in the next episode, so I hope to see you then. Future Zach here. A quick note on Unreal Engine 5. I have downloaded it. I am working in it. So for those of you curious whether or not we'll be moving on into Unreal Engine 5 eventually, the answer is an obvious yes. But one thing you might not know about Unreal Engine 5 is that it has a tendency to crash a lot. It's not the stable version. It's still in early access. The same way that I feel we shouldn't be jumping ahead with Unreal Engine 4 into unstable versions, and we should be waiting for the third revision of a stable version. I definitely don't want to bring you guys into Unreal Engine 5, have you get super frustrated with all the crashes, and I'm talking system crashes too, not just software crashes. It has crashed my entire PC before, and I have a pretty good PC, but you don't have to feel like you're missing out, because when the stable versions come around, it will be well worth the wait.